look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really want to try for my brother.
Yo, welcome back. I don't know if we're gonna just go from that part, but
let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. Want to thank you for joining us for another week in this here 2021. Blessedly, another week has passed and no stupider bullshit has occurred, and so we can start off with that note. But in case this is your first time joining us, we are four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana, that come together to converse, chop it up, laugh, joke, roast, all of that great shit. And pretty much have this moment of camaraderie between four brothers that can be as formal as it is informal. And no matter what, conversation will always be rooted in three principles that we always encourage you to have in your conversations. And that's being forthright, being vulnerable, and most of all, be honest. Fellas, what's going on? How you feeling? What you doing? How's your head space? How's your heart space?
Man, I am in a pleasant state so far. This week wasn't too out of the ordinary personally. I seem to have taken up what was never planned to be a New Year's resolution, but I've been biking quite a bit. So that's kind of been a thing where I bike for at least like 2 hours a day after work while I still got the damn energy too.
Okay, nice.
So I'm loving it, man.
Trying to get that thigh weight up, trying to get you some gams.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trying to squash that watermelon.
Hey, dog, you took my joke, man. This is my Marcus. This is my check-in. Don't be stealing my jokes, bro.
You had that scripted. That was scripted, right?
Yeah. Other than that, man, just making money and hanging with the lady, bro. With the lady. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but pretty good overall, man. What about you?
Okay.
What about y'all?
Same old, man. Working. Enjoying this new year. Been working a lot actually because of the snow, but really just putting more time into the passions, if you will.
Hey.
Which is
how much snow y'all got over there, by the way?
About 2 inches, maybe.
Yeah, we just got some last night.
About an inch and a half, honestly, but nothing drastic.
I miss it, man.
I'll trade.
If I can be without this shit, I'll be grateful. If I never saw snow again, I'd be fine. And I'm a winter kid.
Nah, man.
But I hate cold and I hate snow.
Man, I've been having some. There have been some talks about like my girl and I moving, and like Florida has come up, and I keep telling myself like, although I haven't lived there to actually know, so I guess there's no credibility. But I just like seasons, yo. I appreciate seasons. I like to see the fall and shit, and you just don't get that there in the same way.
Yeah, me too.
You
know,
but it's nice. And I know.
So I'm like,
I know we took over Marcus.
I'm sorry, Marcus. I wasn't playing. I promise, man. I promise.
But I'm gonna just say it's really nice to go to the beach in October and be able to get in the water. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but
I feel that.
I'm telling you, going to being in the Indian Ocean in the middle of December. It feels fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I can see that. I've done a polar plunge before.
Oh, hell no. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, just to say I could do. I just want to see if I can handle it. It was actually in Miller. It was in Miller. Yeah. I'm gonna let Marcus finish.
I've been good though. I on the other side of spectrum. I had some car problems recently, so
Man.
probably be getting something new,
Hey.
or new used.
Yeah.
New for you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking to stay in the sedan, or are you trying to get that Hummy?
Oh no.
Who's buying Hummers? Let's see.
I know they bought to because they're coming out with an electric.
Oh yeah, the electric one. Yeah.
I'm not a
I didn't
fan
know
of
that.
Hummers, man.
Yeah, me neither.
Never been a fan. It's like just keep that shit
As
in
a
the military.
kid, I was.
I
Keep
believe
that shit in the military.
Arnold Schwarzenegger got a few.
Yep.
But no, I don't. It's just whatever is makes sense.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I
It
probably
actually-
would stay away from the big truck type things. I don't mind small like SUVs or something like that, but I'm not trying to get no Suburban or nothing like that.
You rolling around with like 40 dudes. Yo, when he came out, just tighten his ass up.
AJ, how
I
you
might-
doing? I'm saying, my bad, Marco.
No, I was gonna say I might not need no Escalade or nothing.
Oh man.
Well, I can we sell cars where I work at, so
Right.
I can let you know what's there.
What's that discount looking like?
Like may have to hit him with that Percy. I got the hookup. Holler if you hit.
That's funny.
Shout out to the God, Percy.
That's right. But
man.
no, I'm doing all right. Yeah, I guess I'm doing all right. I guess I'm speaking of where I work, I'm just trying to make my exit as soon as I can, but just just trying to find something better. But everything keeps falling through or just not happening at all. Obviously,
Yeah.
COVID-19 is, messing up a lot of stuff. Like there's this construction company that I'm trying to work for out in Chicago, but they can't. Honestly, they can't, but they don't really want to hire anybody else because they're not getting a lot of work because of COVID-19. So like, it wouldn't make sense to hire more people. We're not even really doing jobs like that.
Right.
But but anyway, besides that, I mean, I'm doing all right. I've been really wanting to get back into like 3D art, like cardboard stuff. So I've been trying to think about what I would want to make. But yeah, so look out for that, I guess.
Word. So that's irrelevant.
Hey yo, my YouTube channel recommended your page recently.
Nice.
When you had all the like the jetpack and
Oh really? Oh,
all
wow.
that the robot.
Oh dang, that's my old YouTube channel.
Yeah, the old
Bro,
Dang.
I still show people that shit. I like the fucking Segway with the Gatling gun. I still show people. Like, I know who made this. I know who made this.
Dang. Like, yeah, I just want to get back into it. And then another idea I came up with recently was like, I don't want to. So obviously we know people that dress up as superheroes, like the cosplayers. Or whatever. I don't want to do that necessarily, but I think it would be cool to make like the stuff for those people. Like if I could find a way to monetize it, I think that would be kind of fun to do. Because that's right up my alley. I can do it. I just just haven't.
Yo, in real life, I'll fund you.
Yeah.
I want to get into cosplaying, but I'm lazy. And so I'm not gonna learn how to sew.
You should make a Gundam suit, man.
I was literally thinking the same thing.
That'd be some hard work right there. I'm thinking more like start off easy with like a let's see, who's some like a
Power Ranger?
Yeah. Batman, maybe.
Make me an Optimus Prime.
I just want to be the original Megazord.
It'd be fun.
Real working one. So I could
Yo,
translate.
I just thought about like, just imagine if like the Optimus Prime suits like malfunction and you turn into a fridge instead.
I know you've seen those like those kid costumes where you can actually like turn it, like they lay down and turn into a car.
Yeah.
That's impressive,
Great,
man.
Yeah. But everything is good on this end. Teaching more again, so that's been nice. I'm teaching 3 days a week. Back teaching live 1 day a week, which is fun, being in with the kids. And in the gym more, even though I don't really look like it just yet. I'm trying to get these titties up. And so I want to be like them old, not the wrestler, not in the regard. I want to be like old wrestlers, but not in regards to like just being that swollen, clearly on steroids, but just being able to, walk up and like shake my titties at people. I just want to be able to do it.
Terry Crews type.
Yeah, I've been in there too, actually. Like since we stopped recording, that's kind of when I started. I think I've lost like, I don't know, maybe like 15 pounds since then.
Congrats.
So yeah.
All right, word. Okay.
Trying to get back to 2013 Adam. So we'll see.
What does that technically mean? Like at certain bills, at certain weight goals? Like what does that mean for you?
I guess you could say both. Honestly, I don't even know what my weight was, but I remember there's this photo that Kirsten took of me in Thailand. Where there's a couple of them, and I'm like, I don't know what happened between that moment and now. I do know I ate a lot, but so yeah, I just want to get back to that. So however that photo was, that's just I don't really know what my weight was at the time, but
you're not like trying to get like mega swole and stuff.
No, I mean I've kind of always had an athletic build
right,
just naturally. So I'm not like, for example, I don't have any desire to be able to bench press 400 pounds. I just, that's not really a goal of mine. Like, it's like I'm never going to need that amount of strength in my life.
Word.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I don't actually care to get bigger. I just want to get stronger.
Yo, do y'all believe that's that type of story where they say like the mother can lift a car and stuff like that?
The child is in danger
with adrenaline?
I do. Yeah,
I do.
I don't.
Yeah, definitely. You say you don't?
No, I think that she could do like more than she thought. But
you think it's exaggerated?
I don't know because I've tried to push a Jeep Wrangler by myself, and I know nobody's life is in danger. But I mean,
yeah, man, that's the difference.
I might know weak dude though.
No, I know.
But I think that's that whole thing is like some kind of like superhuman chemical fires off because that entity is helpless, whether it be a baby or like your lover is like has the tire on the kneecap or some shit, and you're like, no, baby, I'm gonna save you. Like,
yeah, and it only really comes for like your main chick, not your side. Like if you're side, no, I'm just kidding.
I think that would be a psychotic experiment. If there was like a movie and like they were doing all these experiments on mothers and they were purposely putting them in danger to see like if they could like access that whatever, I know that
whatever
power.
It is.
Yeah.
I really do think that like the human body in general it's not like we've tapped into all that the human body can do anyway. So like why wouldn't it be a possibility? I think it's just incredible.
Crackhead strength.
because crack does something to you chemically. And so beyond what the human body can do, I think they say, the human brain or whatever only uses 5 to 8% of its capacity. So at 27, who the fuck knows if at 27 you have telepathy?
Fight or flight, with some man.
I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying if you found out at 27% you could move a building with your mind,
What do
What
we
the
gotta
fuck are
do?
you doing at 62?
Yeah, that's
We need to figure out how
It's a
to
bit-
use that other percentages.
Yeah, I never understood that concept because when I first heard that, like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me there's just 90% up there? It's just like hanging out, just
That's just meat.
totally dormant. Yeah,
yeah.
like screaming at us, fucking waiting for us to like acknowledge it. Yo, I'm still here.
I imagine that the other 90% of your brain is always just looking at the rest of you like, you know, we're not really this stupid. But on an unrelated note, let's fire off on these subjects of the day. We are all in varying degrees of committed relationships, as the common perspective around what committed relationships looks like. Okay, whether that be monogamous, non-monogamous, etc. But there are certain parts of the world that believe more so in arranged marriage. Now we're not even talking about marriage because only one out of the four of us is married. That'll be Brother Johnson. Marcus is pretty much married, but still, at this point, it's a what is it called when you like live with a person for 10 years?
Co-inhabitating?
No. It's a phrase. I can't think of it right now.
Shacking up? These are serious answers.
That's the mama's official.
Mama's official thing. Like, shacking up. I remember when I was engaged at one point in my life. We told my mom, and her husband goes, he's like, "Oh, so y'all done shacking up over there?"
Hey, that's like a family.
I've been waiting for this shit. Yeah,
you just named like the top 3 Family Feud. Survey said, "Shacking up is up."
Oh man, it's gonna bother me. I'm sure audience people, write in. Tell us what this phrase is. I'm sure you said it. Do not write.
Is it like an official? Is it like a?
Yeah, it is an official thing where like you can get like you get those government benefits of marriage, although you aren't married because you cohabitated for so long.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I knew that.
You actually get the benefits.
It's not on the same level, but it's a degree of it. Okay. Where like if you've been in the same household, if you lived in the same household and all that kind of stuff, you shared expenses and bills and what are children called on taxes?
Dependents.
Yeah.
You've had all that for a number of years and you shared it, then it's common law marriage. There it is. Common law marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, that shit is super official. Super official.
Sorry for snapping in the mic. I'm sure that's going to come up later.
They say Indiana does not recognize common law marriages.
Really?
Factoid.
Damn.
Well, other countries and all that kind of stuff, and some families and whatnot still acknowledge arranged marriages. And so the typical thing with an arranged marriage is that your parents are in control of finding you potential people to marry. And then that whole thing gets expedited. I did watch Indian Matchmaker, which was a hilarious show, in my opinion.
It was.
And so do you think you could trust your parents to arrange a marriage? If let's say, for the sake of the thing, we all believe in marriage, because I don't. And I'm just saying that for me, really, but I'm going to speak for us. But could you trust your parents to find you a life mate?
That is a really, 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 really good question, man. And my first answer is like, I know that's just got to be a shit ton of pressure on the parent too, because the child can always blame it if the shit fucks up, if it fails. It was all your fault.
Kind of. It's still up to them to go through the questionnaire and vet the person that they're trying to marry and whatnot on both parties, even though a lot of times it's patriarchal system, and the man kind of, controls most of it, even though the mother is usually the one that's picking.
I wonder if they
Word.
like the child gets like any input into it all.
To a good degree, in some cases, I'm really going based on what I've seen from Indian matchmaker and other kind of matchmaking things.
I was about to ask you, Josh, like how closely related is the Indian matchmaker show to like what really goes to what the
every
already
culture is
concept
different.
is? Okay.
Yeah, I think every culture is different. I know sons get treated very differently than daughters in most cases. Because even beyond that, I was watching the show. Have you ever watched the show Rami?
No, but I've heard of it.
Fantastic show.
Yeah,
excellent show. It's a dramedy, kind of like Louis was.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more so based on Muslim culture, and kind of trying to find parents trying to find a way to arrange a marriage and all that kind of stuff, and how the kitab goes and all of that. So happy I said that word right. I think I did. Tell me if I didn't. Any Muslim listeners we got out there?
Yeah,
on my Duolingo.
Hey, nice, dog, nice.
But in regards to that, it varies and there's similarities. And so it's that thing of if you could leave it up to your mom to go out there and find you potential mates, they get, they headshot and bio. Do you think your mom or mother figure can do that? Because I know, we got your aunt Aaron, but
yeah, pretty much. My mom.
She's your mother.
yeah.
One thing I just thought about was like they've been through. Well, most parents have been through a lot, within relationships. And when I take that in consideration, and like the fact that they probably one of the people that know you the best, yeah, I could see how it can work. But personally, I wouldn't want that. But people who are born into that culture probably don't think of it like that.
Probably not.
But I can kind of understand how it would work. But I've seen some cases where they like probably most cases like they don't really love each other, but they kind of like grow to love each other, which is kind of cool. But I couldn't imagine just like marrying somebody that I don't really care for. But they probably
you may barely know,
right? But I feel like they probably it's so normal there. They probably find it easier to love this person or whatever just because it's a normality there. But what I was about to say, yeah, I don't think I would be able to or want that for me.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead, bro.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't prefer it, but I do think that my aunt could choose somebody that I could rock with. I would never want her to do it, but I do think she could like find somebody. But like what I would need it to be like Indian matchmaker where we have like a list of people. It can't just be like, all right, she has between one or two people. I need to give I need to make it. I need to give the odds. I need to make better odds. I think,
Are they looking?
I would trust her though.
You say what?
Are they looking at the physical? Like,
that it usually is like you get like a headshot, and then you have like the listings of what's your background of what's your ethnic or religious background, where did you graduate from college, what's your degrees, what are your degrees in, what are some of the hobbies and things that you like, do you want kids, all of those things are kind of like listed on there. I forgot the name of the document, but like that document comes with being a part of this system.
Yeah.
And I've heard that the divorce rate is much lower than
usually
over here. much
Yeah.
much lower.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wonder
again,
if-
it may be a part of just that's
It's
the
a different culture thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Also, I just saw this thing right here. It says a woman who refuses to go through with an arranged marriage tries to leave an arranged marriage via divorce is suspected of any kind of immoral behavior may be considered to have dishonored her family.
I was about to ask that about like how I'm sure
Mm.
divorce is like seen as a terrible thing,
So-
a shunned thing anyway.
So if this being the case, her male relatives may be ridiculed, blah, blah, blah. And in these cases, killing the woman is a way for the family to enforce institution for arranged marriages. So that can be like a penalty. I'm pretty sure that may
In some
That's a
cultures,
goal.
yeah.
That's a
In
goal.
some-
Yeah.
In
Which-
some cultures,
which
not
culture is this?
hold on, not all.
it brings up this thing. It says it's called honor killings. But I'm just thinking like
That's some.
that may lower
That's
the
an
divorce
oxymoron.
rate by
Yeah,
About
by 150%.
That's some insanely misogynistic bullshit.
it's called
Uh,
a shame killing. Yeah, that's crazy.
So what the fuck happens to dudes who do that shit?
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing.
It said,
Yeah,
it
oh,
said an
nothing,
honor
absolutely
killing
nothing.
is a type of domestic violence. That's what they consider.
I guess they just. Oh, I was about to say something terrible.
Wow.
I can only
Um,
joke.
Now,
It gets
listeners out there, if you are familiar with this, with cultures or environments that do this or have these practices, by all means, give us some perspective because, of course, Google can only say so much, and you have inner knowledge. So please write us in and let us know.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I don't. I love my mom, and we've had.
Yo, you
some-
giving those disclaimers I used to give when I was dating Katie. Now you know I love her. Before I say, before I talk about this other girl's booty, you know I love Katie. Okay?
That's funny because I remember
Shout
that.
out to Katie. I remember that very distinctly. Because I remember going one time like this. We know, like you don't have to say that. We know. It was like, nah. Shout out to Katie. I love my mom. I think she knows me to some degree. I think I've grown to such a degree that most of the time when we're together, there's such a slew of questions to try to figure out me again.
That's a good
And-
point, man.
I don't trust my mother to pick a woman who will be good for me in general and can suck dick. And so
Maybe
Now,
you could put that question, that
now
questionnaire
that could be
in,
taught. Now that could be taught. Okay?
no,
That could be
it
worked
can't.
on. Yo, that could be worked on. That could be worked on. All right.
It's all 100% effort.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly. Most, I will argue with anyone that 87% of proficient dick sucking is enthusiasm. And if you don't have that,
Bro.
you can't teach enthusiasm. You can't. That's fake. I don't want fictitious Domeage.
I got you. But what I'm saying is, just catch her at the right time. She'll have enough enthusiasm. Catch her at the right time. I mean,
I don't want to have to wait for the new moon. Look here.
Anybody walking around with enthusiasm in their fucking pocket all the time?
Shit. If you need me to pinball that pussy, that clitoris, at any time, I got you.
No, you're right, bro. Yo, me too. You're right. You're
And
right.
so
Me too.
I
Me too.
don't want to hear these excuses. It's supposed to be an equal and fair relationship.
Yeah,
And so,
I feel you on that.
jokes aside, I think my mom knows me to some degree, but I don't know that she knows me to that level
Yeah.
to be able to pick that kind of mate.
Yeah.
But
I
again,
agree
like
with
in their culture, they probably do. Like they live very.
They live more closely in all of that, yeah.
And
Yeah,
like
Possibly. More likely.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Go ahead, dog. I'm sorry.
No, I would say, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in that world, but just based on what I've seen
That's all. Yeah.
on TV, which is not a good resource.
It's not real education.
No,
People, we don't know these things. This is all
Yeah, that's like
speculation.
yo, TV is pretty much just Wikipedia. But
yeah,
Yes.
worse. But
of course.
But it seems like a lot of times they're making their decisions not even based on personalities. Like this guy's an engineer, and so yeah, you're gonna be with this dude, or this dude's a doctor.
It's off the resume, man.
I was gonna bring that aspect of it up because, like, it sounds like I'm really defending this, but even though I don't believe in it, but a lot of times go ahead.
I'm sorry. Why did it sound like the intro to Criminal?
Oh yeah. It's because I say anything, but I believe in it.
If you believe that, I'll force you to get married too. But what I was about to say, yeah, a lot of people believe that a relationship is just love, and
yeah,
it's a lot. It's probably like 50 or 75, but
it's effort.
Is a percentage of that which is somewhat of a business and somewhat of other aspects that don't have to do with love. So in saying that, like, I could understand how they can want to find a person that has stability in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that comes with maturity, maybe.
Absolutely.
Because you can love somebody 100%, but those relationships still can fail because of other outside reasons. So
yeah, bro, that's why I think, like, I'm still trying to formulate my reasons why I think that I could, like, I don't prefer it once again, but I would trust my aunt to find me somebody because of that fact of, like, the daily effort that the daily effort part gets left out of all the romantic poems and shit. It's all about, you just hear about the love and the cool shit that you put on a Hallmark card.
And
but
I
like
think
the daily effort,
older people kind of realize that.
Yeah, I think you can learn to, like, rock with somebody in that way. You guys can, like, catch that flow with one another, just by putting in that effort, just by being willing to put in that effort.
What I think about with this too is, like, if you put yourself in a parent's perspective, like say when my kids get older,
mm-hmm.
Not that I would want to do that, but how parents kind of have that sixth sense of, like, oh no, that's that person not for you, and a lot of times they'll be right. They kind of, I don't know, they have that knowing, but also they just some parents kind of say that about everybody because they don't believe anybody is good enough for you.
True.
But sometimes they know, like, nah, this ain't it.
I'm gonna say this. I know there's this ancient proverb that says, "What's love got to do with it?" Not for real, because I don't even think I answered the question yet. But I would say that I, on one hand, I would trust my mom because I feel like my mom knows me better than I think, and sometimes evidence of that kind of just pops up, like, through just conversation. Like, I didn't even know like, or like her sense of humor kind of like our sense of humor is similar. It's kind of on that same, I mean, she's a 60-something-year-old Christian woman, so it's not going to be exactly the same as mine. And so, so there's that. But at the same time, I definitely would not want. I think she could, but I still wouldn't want that because, like I just said, she's a 60-something-year-old Christian woman, and I ain't got nothing against Christians, whatsoever.
I do.
But
Yeah, I mean, like it's just that, like, yeah,
it's
I
just
feel you,
it's
though.
just for me. I've kind of kind of taken a step back from that. I guess you could
Mhm.
say. Like I haven't gone to church in quite some time. Um, I kind of don't see that changing. Not for any particular reason, I guess. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just not, it's just kind of not my thing at this point in my life. Um, but also though, to touch on that divorce thing, like I think because I see this topic come up online a lot where people will say, how come older people like not Gen, but like our parents' age, let's say that. So
So Gen X,
and
Gen X, and baby
boomers,
boomers.
yeah, they say that. How come like I wouldn't even say Gen X, more so like
Baby
more so boomers, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Like how come like why isn't their divorce rate nearly as high as it is like today?
Mhm.
And you'll see people say, well, that's because they knew how to love and they knew how to work through things, and it's like, yeah, but also there was what's the word when something's bad socially,
It was ostracized or
Oppression.
frowned upon, or
yeah, it was frowned upon. That's not
yeah,
the word, but I'll use it.
yeah,
It, it,
taboo.
it it was taboo to get divorced. So it's like,
Family
well,
feud.
Right.
we can't we're like, so we can't get divorced because our family is gonna be saying this, our church home is gonna
Mhm.
be saying this. Today they're like, I don't care, man, let's get a divorce. And it's just that simple. It's like, I'm not
Yeah.
about to sit here and
Yep.
stay with you and I'm depressed staying with you,
Right.
so I'm gonna leave. And a lot of
Yeah.
times back
That's a
then they
good
just kind
point.
of just suffered in silence.
Mhm. And to
Sometimes,
yeah,
and real
go ahead,
quick,
I'm sorry.
sometimes it's like they didn't really have a choice
Yeah.
And
because
also I believe that's very true. And they also, I feel like they had a different threshold of what what you can go through in a relationship. I the from the stories I hear from older people,
Mhm.
like they put up with stuff, like
Oh,
and they may be
yes.
suffering, or they may not be, but a lot of times I hear these stories where, like, dang, like y'all stayed together through all of that. I think is a certain level of like fortitude that they had more so back
Mm.
then,
I completely agree, dude. I think
in,
that
Hey,
in
like
relationships or in
we can't
other
leave that
aspects
out.
of life
just
too.
Yeah,
Like,
I
socially,
agree.
yeah,
yeah.
socially
It's a
in every
level of
way.
respect I have for that. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
But there's two things to even talk about with that. To piggyback on what Marcus and Aaron Adam just said, ain't shitness ain't exclusive to the Gen X, Y, and Z.
People ain't shit forever. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was just easier to do it back then, and it was socially taboo to do anything about it. Where you could a dude could have a whole other family 4 blocks away, or
Mhm.
he could leave for 6 months, write 3 letters, and be fine. so
This yes.
it's a whole thing of like, of course, why would you get divorced and all of that kind of stuff when it's like, if you saw your husband, let's say your husband has to travel for work or something like that, and granted, cars exist now, but maybe flying isn't as frequented or what have you. If they travel for work and you live in Montana and they work in Chicago, they got to drive back and forth to Chicago. They're leaving for months at a time.
hey, it's still jobs like that. Like, you got to go
Yeah,
training for 6
Yeah,
months, or you got to work over here for however long. Like, it's pretty much the same, just different reasons. But go ahead.
no, I was just saying, like, motherfuckers could go away as long as you. Again, it's different now because you can talk to a person at any time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? At the time, phones are few and far between. They're
There
not.
wasn't no
They
Zoom
may be in the
meetings.
house at the time. Or we're talking about boomer generation, or even their parents. Phones are barely around, and you got to write a letter. And as long as I wrote you in this letter to tell you how I was, my dearest Calliope, or whatever, like, I didn't have to tell you all the details of how many cheeks I was beating, the several kids that I have.
Well, if she had a name like that, I'm definitely cheating too. Sound like a side effect or something, bro.
Might be. You ain't never heard that name?
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. I got a question. I got a question. So, and this might be too technical, but if let's say your parent chooses a mate for you, and the shit doesn't work out, are we saying that we're blaming the parent, or are we blaming? You know what I'm saying? In regard to like, in regard to,
only reason I wouldn't is because it was still up to me to vet them.
Oh, yeah, I feel the same way, and that brings me back to like, all right, well, once you get the person, are you willing to like how far are we willing to go with this? I like to take it back to what Marcus was saying. Like, are we willing to stick it out? How far are we willing to stick it out? Are we already saying fuck it? I don't like what she brought anyway, and if I have to do this shit, it's a whole nother thing. So
yeah, because you like just speaking from the couple of pieces of media that I've seen and whatnot that kind of delve more into this. Of course, I don't really know. You go on a few dates. You may be seeing each other for like a month, a couple months. But the turnaround time is still really fast. In that amount of time, I need to try to get to know as much about you and almost kind of run scenarios or put you into situations to see how you fare. The vetting process is up to me. All my parent did was propose the job to you.
Hey,
I got to make sure you can do the job.
They had the formula for the reality shows, like way before the reality shows was there. Like,
dang, what was I listening
that's a
to?
reality show waiting to happen.
So, I guess I was approaching this question, the original question, a little differently because I was under the impression like your mom or parents, or whatever, they pick the person and you marry. You have no choice. Like you have no choice.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of wondering. Like, do you have a choice?
And for me, if that's the case, I'm blaming my parents.
But yeah, absolutely.
But for me, it's like it's gonna fail. Like for me, there's a 95% chance it's gonna fail for me because I don't click with people for the most part. I mean, I have my friends, you guys, whatever, but like, I mean, I don't like most people. I mean, and like for me, it's like there's people that I'll meet at work, and like the first month or two, oh, this is a cool guy. And as I get to know them more, I start to learn their like things, their isms, and all that.
Different
like,
nuances.
I don't like this dude anymore. It was like I don't like the way he does this thing. It annoys me. It's like I find like there's never been a job that I had or a place that I worked where there was somebody that I just could not stand. Like it's just that's not a. It's like that's always gonna happen. It's like no matter what.
I feel you on that. Like I understand where you're coming from. I'm wondering though, like, do you think that plays a little bit into, let's say, the whole concept of, which kind of veers us off, I'm sorry, but like you shouldn't room with your friends, or you shouldn't have a job, you shouldn't start a business with your friends because you might find those same things. You might recognize that there are certain things with your friends. I'm just asking ahead of time to see about this podcast. So, yo, are we how far are we taking this podcast?
I mean, I feel like I get that, and I guess if you've been friends with this person for a year, yeah, maybe you shouldn't start a business with them. But I feel like if you've been friends with somebody for 20 years, I feel like
yeah.
And I think living with and starting a business with are two different things.
I just know those are two things that come up as the idea of like,
I feel you on that, but I'm like living with, that's people in their like utmost comfort and all of that. But starting a business with means like, okay, here are your strengths and weaknesses. How do we make sure that we cater to both of them accordingly? Like they're just different approaches and stuff like that. Living with somebody that you could live with somebody that you barely know. That's most of like college students and shit. Mm-hmm. But starting a business with somebody you don't know, that's
like
that's not a thing.
My life is at stake right here.
Right.
It could be, I guess, depending on how much,
Hey, have y'all heard of, I don't remember if we talked about this on here, but there's some cultures and countries where kidnapping your bride is a thing. Y'all heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
No, I have not. I have not heard of this.
So actually all around the world has been a thing, but mostly prevalent in like countries that have a Astan Astan at the end of it.
Central Asia.
From the Caucasus mountains area. But they do this thing where the guy kidnaps a woman, and I don't know the whole process, but that's like he takes her to be his bride, and a lot of these places the parents are in on it. Not so much in on it as is acceptable, and they actually want it to happen or whatever. I don't know much facts, about it, but that's definitely a thing. Like,
when you say parents in on it, I don't know why this is a serious matter, but that's kind of funny. Just like going up to Mrs. Jenkins, like, hey, Mrs. Jenkins, how are you doing? My name is Joshua. On Tuesday, February 17th, I'm going to be kidnapping your daughter so she could be my betrothed. Okay. So I promise you she won't be in danger, but she may suffer some slight head trauma. Okay. And
possibly lifeline trauma.
and a lifetime of sucking my dick with enthusiasm.
Nice callback there.
But yeah, I mean, the amount of shit that the women of the world have to be that they are put through between being kidnapped for marriage, the shit with genital mutilation, it's like, it's absurd.
But that's probably more prevalent than actual arranged marriage. Like, it has a very deep history, and in some of those places, like I said, the parents are in on it, but kidnapping your marriage by abduction, like that's what they call it. But in a way, the reason why it's so old is because it's kind of like pillaging. Like, you heard of when you go to war and you just take a woman, like
on some Viking
shit. Yeah, basically that type of energy, like where you basically just taking a woman by force. Yeah. So I guess it varies in degrees of, like, okay, you got your parents in on it in this one country, and it's kind of a culture thing. But if you go back farther, it stems from just Viking type stuff where
misogyny.
Well, definitely like the utmost level of that.
I think so. I think so many like things that are normalized in culture, ours included, it stems from some insecure men back in the day, some insecure, like, and I don't want to talk down on like Christianity again, but I feel like there's some parts of the Bible where I'm like, this just sounds like some guy was mad, like
speaking out of spite. Yeah,
like there's a part of the Bible that says that when a woman is on her period, she has to leave the town until she's off of it.
Right.
That's an actual thing.
I've heard that, brother.
And for me, I'm like, that doesn't sound.
There's a lot of patriarchy.
Like, that doesn't sound like something God would say.
Upon further research, I did not find a passage saying a woman had to leave her village while menstruating, but the book of Leviticus does talk about a menstruating woman is unclean for 7 days. Anyone who touches her is also unclean, but only until that evening. Wherever she sat or lied down is now unclean as well. However, parts of India does send girls and women outside of the village to live in huts for 5 days, sometimes alone. If lucky, they'll sometimes be able to stay with another individual. Given the location of these huts, it is not uncommon for wildlife to make an appearance, and there have been reports of women dying from snake bites.
That sounds like some guy he can't get his way when his wife's on this period. So, like, you know what, you need to go hit the Motel 6.
We gotta.
That's what it sounds like.
Like, we made up the word God. Like, so is their idea of what they want that to be, really.
And in the immortal words of Absolute Soulage, they wrote 44 books and didn't let a woman say one word. I would say Absol's real name, but I don't remember it. And it is literally that thing of a good chunk of the Christian faith, anyway. Can't really speak toward too much about the others because I wasn't raised in them. It's completely built inside the patriarchal systems.
Yeah. And it's interesting because that leads, because I know they try to say, they try to pretend like church and state are separated, but they're not. They're very closely they're
intertwined.
parallel. They're very, and it's like there's so many things. Like, I mean, the fact that we just got a woman vice president for the first time since our history, since we've become a country, in 1776. It's like, that's crazy. And it's not because no woman was qualified. I'm sure there's been plenty of women qualified to be vice president and president and whatever other position. We have the same brain, like our brains. Obviously, every person, regardless of gender, ethnicity, whatever, every person has a different level of intelligence. But there's no doubt that there's been a woman at some point that had the full capability of being a vice president.
Absolutely.
Also, let it be known, like, U.S. is behind in this aspect. Like, other countries broke that barrier. Like, what's up? We supposed to be so evolved in first world country type stuff.
But America's completely sorry.
Yeah. It's completely just masculine driven, and when we think that we're so evolved, like every week we see some stuff that shows you like we're not so far along as they wanted to make it seem. Like,
yeah,
I saw a post going around when the coronavirus thing broke out. There's like America's a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. It's like
holding a gun.
And I'm like, man, that's so accurate because
that's very accurate.
I went to Canada last year. No, the year before last. Wow, it was 2019, and then like just being there, and I was like, man, Canada is what America thinks it is. It's like when you just learn about like what's going on in Canada, the policies and the people and all that. It's like, it really feels like, and it looks like America. It's just like, this is what America thinks they are to the rest of the world. But then when you go to Canada and you realize it feels different, although it looks the same as America, but it just feels different. And then you come back to America and it's like, okay, it's not like America isn't. I mean, I was going to say it's not a terrible place, but I guess that can be argued, I guess, when you really think about it. It's like, do we have to like struggle for food? No. Like, can we turn on our faucet and water comes out? Yeah. But when you really break down stuff like, for example, people like storming the Capitol, like that's stuff that happens in like countries that are fighting for their independence. Like, those countries that really had it rough for like the last 2,000 years. Like those, that's like, I don't know if that's ever happened and I hate using the word first world, but I can't imagine. I don't remember the last time something like that has happened in like a first world country where like the citizens straight up just barged into a government, not a government building, because they did that out in Oregon a few years ago. But I mean, that didn't count.
That was last year.
Because it could be considered a federal building, but still.
Yeah, it was technically a federal, but it was like a wildlife, blah, blah. It was empty.
Wildlife reserve, yeah. But it's a thing of, sure, countries have, the difference between countries where this might happen more often are having legitimate revolutions.
I was just about to say, they have legit reasons.
Like those people were just there because they believe the lie that the system that they are a part of,
but not that we don't have a legit reason. Like, we got some reasons probably that we need to change some things, but
there's plenty of reasons to go against the government. That wasn't one of them.
Right. Yeah. That's
and that's not the way you do it either. Like, that ain't cool. Like, I'm fully what's the word I'm looking for? There's so many things I wish they would change. Like, but I'm not gonna beat a police officer to death. I'm not gonna barge
Oh,
into somebody's office and steal their
Yeah.
mail. I'm not gonna do any of
yeah,
that.
that's stupid.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you thought you were being a part of some revolution, you got in and then didn't do anything. The overwhelming majority of them. Some of them did commit heinous acts. They destroyed property. They killed a person. 5 people died. I'm not saying nothing happened, but I'm saying going in there just to steal a podium and mail and take selfies.
Right. It should be obvious why you're doing this, and we still don't know. I mean,
it's obvious why
we
they
know.
did it.
We know why, but it's not legit. It's just not legit. Like, your reasoning got to be at least on par with something that's owed to the people, at least, like, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we're not trying to go political today, but
I was about to get us out.
and I'll say this: what's so crazy about you guys saying like they did this for whatever reasons. What the most bizarre thing is, in their minds, they think they're 101% correct. They think,
of course,
and that's what's so mind blowing about it, because they really think that the election was stolen. They think that people were cheating and all this, but it's like, if Donald Trump had won the election in the exact same fashion, say he got a bunch of overnight, no, he didn't get overnight votes, but that's just when the votes were counted, I guess.
Some red eye.
If the mail-in vote would have counted for, would have went toward him, they'd have no issues.
Yeah,
they wouldn't question the system whatsoever.
Yep. And that's just the craziest thing, because these people aren't going to go away, and that it gets to a point where it's like, how do you? I saw an article. It was something along the lines is like the right wing people have become impossible to govern. And it's kind of true, because like, if they don't get their way, they're gonna be. I mean, it's one thing to be upset. Like when Trump won, people were upset. Sure, people did protest, but people weren't like causing. But people weren't violent about it. People just put those stupid hats on, the pink hats, and was walking around, whatever. But
and there's some folks that would. I'm not saying that I agree at all. I just know that I hear, however stupid, other perspectives and whatnot, because the conversation that part of the conversation that keeps on occurring, and we really got to get the fuck out of here.
I got you.
Is that on both sides, the overwhelming majority didn't do that thing. So whether it's the riots at the Capitol, because I refuse to call that a protest,
insurrection.
The insurrection,
which is a funny word, man.
For that word, I did not know that word before. I went straight to the search, like, never heard of this. It's a nice word. It's a nice word, Joe.
Yeah, the insurrection, the attempted coup.
Yeah.
That's the word I just love. Cool. Yeah. But
I think it's a French
majority.
Word.
Yeah, coup d'etat.
Yeah, anyway, I
was like,
peace silent.
It's a French term, because
what's the etymology? Please.
But the majority of them got in and didn't really do anything besides rub onions on their eyes and take selfies. And but some of them got violent and destroyed property and all of that. The same thing could be said about dumbasses with the BLM protests, where they're like the 95+%, 98+% of all those protests were peaceful and just marching through the streets and whatnot. But then some folks go and start looting and all of that other kind of shit. I'm not saying this is a real perspective. I'm not even saying I believe it or align with it. I'm just saying these are the conversations that are being had around it. And so that's a negation to the point that was just made earlier, that people will try to say. I'm not saying it's valid. I'm just saying that would be the opposing conversation.
I mean, just like we said, in any era, there's craziness going on. Like, there's people suffering and inequalities and all that shit in every era. I don't think this shit it hasn't changed now. I akin that to, in any group of people, there's different people in different states, and some people are going to be more aggressive, and violent in whatever group, whatever, that to me has been proven, man. That's from, from large span of time.
Right. Aaron, we need that escape route. Throw it out there.
Yes. All right. So I still have not fucking come up with exact, like, decent answers as to why I would allow my aunt to fucking choose somebody for me. I want to say, like, it's because I think materially she could find somebody that I would like, that would be close enough for me to rock with, and then the rest I'll just put in the work and try to go from there.
You say materially?
Like the material, like I'm thinking of like resume, like, oh, what do you like? How do you look? Blah blah blah. Those.
So you mean like compatibility?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I will use that word that Josh finds more suitable. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I was like, materially, like, you mean like necklaces and shit? Like, what's the material?
Yes, I do think she could on that aspect, but like, and then the rest would be
another family.
We'll have to grow. But but like that's the best thing. Like, and I guess I really like Marcus's idea. Like parents who've been together for so long are just seeing much more, and they've become resilient, I hope, in different relationships and learning about themselves and others, blah blah blah. However, that to me is not. It doesn't really suffice for my own personal answer. But I'm gonna leave it at that. But I do remember these. I think throughout the week, sometime last week or this week, I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about intimacy and relationships, and they were talking about different scientists were trying to prove that people could become more intimate a lot sooner. You don't have to wait years before you get to know somebody and blah blah blah, and you're willing to fall in love.
Prove that
they were doing different tests. They were trying to say how quick can two people fall in love? What methods can we go about?
You mean like in a step-by-step type aspect?
Yeah. Well, at first it was like a theory, like, well, do you need 20 or 50? Do you need 20 years, 50 years to really get to know somebody in a way that or do you even need 2 or 3 years, however long it takes for you to get engaged?
I figured that was pretty obvious.
Somebody.
But I think that can happen pretty quickly.
I do. So I kind of feel most people would say I think I've heard that there's this idea of you want to be with somebody for at least a year or two before you feel comfortable getting engaged, because you want to become their friend. You want to get to know them first before you move in and take it a step further. So I think they were like taking all these societal ideas and saying, okay, well, can we shorten that time? So I think in the 90s, there was this I think Marcus, maybe you can look this up. His name is Arthur Aron, Aron. And he had this study in the 90s where he had a list of 36 questions, and like they all got increasingly more personal and intimate as you went down the list. And then after it, you would spend 4 minutes looking into the other person's eyes for 4 minutes, not saying anything. And then apparently it worked with several people, got married, like quote unquote fell in love and got married. So my question I pose to you guys is,
how long that lasts?
What I was gonna, I'm that, yeah, that I don't know. But I'm just curious in regards to relationships that we talked about earlier. Could you see it working in just your own experience you've had with people where you've gotten? Because I've been surprised at how good the chemistry has been with people I had just met before. And I wondered, like, damn, I wonder if we kept this on, if we took it a step further and did other things, like, what could have happened with that. So that I leave to you guys.
Now,
let's unpack. Okay.
Who is he?
He's a psychologist named Arthur Aron. Aron. He had like a 36 questions. What's your take on it? What's your take?
Oh, I thought you meant like this.
And then just like follow up with, yeah, Marcus, you can give us the deets, because I might be butchering it a little bit.
I thought you were saying like the country Iran, like the stats.
Oh no, it's Aron. This is his last name.
I never heard of that.
I don't like to say Aaron. So for So Aron, I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm taking the chance of pronouncing it wrong just so.
No, he's Arabic, or is his name
That honestly, I don't know.
Arthur Aron?
Yeah,
He's
Arthur Aron. He's a
Canadian.
psychologist back in like the 90s. He did this experiment.
Arthur Aron. It would be Aron though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
He's
but like I
best known
know
for his work on intimacy and interpersonal relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, look up that. I'm sure it should come up about with the list about increasingly personal questions but some people have said it worked for them. How do you guys feel about it? And just maybe in regards to like situations where you've been surprised at how good the chemistry or intimate you've been able to get with somebody in such a short time.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with someone over like 3 weeks. But long term, I don't know that it would have stayed that way. We're still very close, but not in the way that we were in that time.
Okay.
And so who knows? I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I always am never really sure about the length though. And so I rarely function in a state of, I can want something to last forever. I'm never really committed to that being real.
Now, do you feel like in all those situations, you guys eventually run into something that you find is like a deal breaker? Or,
I mean, you tell me you don't suck dick, that's a deal breaker.
Hey, I respect it, bro. I respect it. Had that shit in the syllabus ahead of time. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody told me that. I just find it hard to believe. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
I've heard it.
What? Yeah, you've heard it.
I heard it like in high school, which like sure
Yeah, I heard it in adult
it,
years, and then eventually they came around, and I was like, oh, this is why.
Right. Is that
yes? I feel like it always hits you. It always kind of catches you off guard. You're not.
No. I mean, she said that because she.
When you said she, but, I was about to say, when you say she came around, what does that infer?
Eventually, she was in the spirit to praise fallaciously, if you will.
I will never somebody who said that. That's why I was like
worship.
Bro, I was just telling my girl and her friend not too long ago that like I was just scrolling on a friend's Tinder, and one of the girls that he matched with, her profile specifically said, if you don't worship eating pussy, then don't even bother talking to me. Like yo, just swipe left. I appreciated her being honest about it. Being straightforward. It's like this is what I want. This is a deal.
I mean,
them the profiles that I wish I saw. All I constantly see is shit about dogs, and
it's a little bit
true. I know, dude.
Lead with that, like,
I was surprised too to lead with it, but she was just straight about it. Like,
be straight up. I don't give a fuck about your gym workout.
You can be straight up, but
I don't care how tall you are. Get the fuck, like,
we can get to that maybe the second or third conversation.
But yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Like I said, I want things to last. When they feel good, I want them to last forever. I will work for things to last for as long as possible. But if something gets in the way of that, and we see like pushing beyond that is not healthy for either of us, then I'm prepared to let it go. But it's not a thing of,
you know what? It sounds like I definitely can tell, like, just from that, like, it sounds like you guys would have already had a conversation saying, do we both find this worthwhile to move forward? That sounds like somebody some individuals who are willing to at least talk and discuss some shit, which is like a part of like doing something long term, having a good communication shit. So,
and that's really, but that's how I try to cultivate any relationship, whether or not that's intimate or platonic.
Me too.
Just being like, hey, unless you try to, unless you intentionally try to cause me harm, I'm in your corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
rock
a
with it.
maturity. Like at first, I guess you don't understand relationships fully. Like you don't have that level of maturity, and you just thinking like, uh, we can make it work or whatever. It's just being real with yourself and knowing. Like I think we mentioned it before, like strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
What?
on just to piggyback off of what you said, Marcus, I think you could also, because I feel like we're all coming into whatever relationships, whatever type of relationship it is, with some baggage, but let's just use romantic or intimate relationships with some baggage. That is, to me, it's a level of like, okay, well, how comfortable am I like expressing the parts that I'm ashamed of and trying to work and accept them with it. So with under that understanding, if it just depends on how much effort you're willing to put in for this whole, this whole experiment to work. It's got to be something serious. It got to be something really serious. If we're all coming from the place of like, we come with baggage, you know what I'm saying? We're working on that shit, and we might be accepting of the other person's baggage to the best of our ability.
And maybe I'm talking too much on this, but I don't know. I'm a big advocate of, although we're speaking toward intimate relationships,
Yeah.
And for me, you have to do that across the board. Every relationship has to function that way, because that's the only way you yourself are going to build that consistency. If you think just by doing that only in intimate relationships, that's going to build the consistency that you actually want or want to ask of others, that's hypocritical.
Yeah. I agree.
Man, I just think that's such a mature, not saying that it's impossible, but that's a very mature thing to. I think it's hard for everybody to get to that throughout your life, like 100% with every relationship you have, because it takes a level of vulnerability.
That's what I was saying.
And
That's what I was getting to
at the same time.
That's what I was getting to. And like, you're not always going to be at that. You're not always going to be at that stage.
One of our tenets,
Yeah.
One of our pillars.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I agree with you, Marco, that it does require that much vulnerability. And I guess for me,
and like, are you able to have that all the time? I think it's possible, but like, just
it's a muscle.
Like, how often are you on? Like, sometimes you just don't want to. Dog.
And you don't have to,
because you might get frustrated. You might get irritated. I'm just saying, like, I guess vulnerability would be acknowledging and being straight up, like, yo, I'm feeling this way. Maybe it's not the best time to have this conversation or what.
And that's what I mean.
What I'm that's people,
just because you're being in your whatever your apex of vulnerability is, just because you're being that doesn't mean you have to fully engage. I can be vulnerable enough to go, I'm not in the space to have this conversation right now. I'm not in the space to engage in this way. That's still a moment of vulnerability and going, but that also says that you are willing to have this relationship.
Yeah.
Hey,
gotcha.
It's forthright, vulnerable, and honest.
You also gotta know. You also gotta know yourself. Yeah. Like,
true.
You gotta know yourself to
how you gonna learn that if you don't make a practice of it? If it's not a daily practice to be like that.
Yo, that's what I was. I don't think you're constantly knowing. You're constantly like doing it daily, learning and figure shit out. So I don't know if there's ever a point where you just be like, all right, I completely know everything.
But no, that's
it's gonna stay stagnant. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up. But
it's all good.
That is the main issue, is that a lot of people run away from that thing because they go, oh, I don't want to engage it, so I'm going to fully disengage, but I'm not going to commit to going, okay, I can't engage right now, but I want to make sure that we resolve whatever this issue is.
Yeah, because that shit gonna come up. It's gonna come up again for sure. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, with that, let's take what we just unpacked.
You been getting deep, bro.
and move it into this 36 list, this 36 questions in 4 minutes. I mean, with that, it sounds like it could be a success, but not necessarily maybe because of the list, but because of the work you do afterwards and your willingness to like work with the person.
Hold on, you lost me. What 36 questions?
The psychologist, the thing I was talking about, I heard on the podcast.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm trying to veer back into like that because how it pertains to like just relationships and intimacy and marriages and all of that.
So
because apparently people had gotten married off of that.
Right.
So, and he was just like we're talking about longevity in relationships, specifically intimate. Adam, what do you think?
Y'all want some of the questions? Go ahead, Adam.
No, I was gonna say I think it's plausible because I mean my parents, they were together for 5 months before they got married, and they've been married for over 40 years. And I'm not saying that because it's easy to say, oh, they've been married for this long. Okay, but what's the quality of the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
So,
True.
But like they still like. I'm sure you guys have seen the old couples at the store, and they're like grumpy and definitely like,
that's just a part of it all.
The guy is walking 10 feet in front of the his wife, and they're just, you'd be seeing that couple. But no, like my parents, they still take walks and hold hands. He still brings her flowers. Like it's still like, and that's incredible, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't see that with couples that's been together. I mean, I hate to say it, I don't even do all that, to be honest with you. And that's not to say
Me either.
I don't fully love, my wife.
It's not a requirement, but it's nice to see.
That's just the dynamic of their relationship.
Yeah, their relationship.
And y'all want to hear some of the questions of?
Yeah, because they get. Read some of the
Arthur's
beginning
questions?
ones, and then just kind of read some in the middle, and then the most like personal ones.
So,
I'm just curious.
So the way it is 3 sets of questions. So, number 1, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? That's set 1, number 1 question. Number 2 question: would you like to be famous? In what way? I guess that would be 2 questions, but. Let me go to set 2. So number 13, y'all can say anything about him if y'all want, or just.
Well, at first we had a whole episode about.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
We can all these questions episodes really.
So it's really interesting because
let me keep these in the tuck so we can.
Go ahead.
Use these for.
For it just seems like so these questions sound similar to like the personality question. Like they're always going to be some sort of vague.
50 Cent should do a remix. 36 questions.
Let me hit y'all with 13. Hey, 50 Cent he knew art.
Would you still love me?
So number 13, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
Okay,
that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, it is.
Number 14, is there something that you dreamed of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it?
That's a good question. Why haven't you?
Money.
Why you ain't got that money, boy? Set 3, 25. The number 25. Make 3 true wait, that's kind of confusing. Make 3 true we statements each. That sentence is crazy.
Yeah.
For 3 true we statements each.
For instance, we are both in this room feeling. Oh, I've heard that before. I've heard that question before.
That's like a therapy question, like a couple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of this is really therapy questions.
Yeah. He's a psychologist, so complete the sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank blank. So that's a few questions.
That's a good one. Can you read the last one?
The last one. Number
36.
36. Share a personal problem, and ask your partner's advice on how he or she may handle it. Also ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you chose.
Okay, that's a good one. I thought it was gonna end up being more like, so you fuck with me yet or what?
Hey, so they like a final statement, like you like
yo, wrap it up. Are we good or what?
So let me get one more. I like this one. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
No.
That is a great question.
That's right.
Because it's the type of shit you gotta be.
Can't take nothing serious. I mean, nothing is
be based off the person.
Yeah, it depends on the subject and who's saying this joke.
I'll give you who's saying this joke too, but I can accept a person who shouldn't be saying that joke if that joke is clever enough.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see comedians. Is like that's the art of making a joke. Like, okay, this subject is very touchy, but let me figure out a way to joke about it in a way that
isn't making fun of, isn't doing it at the expense of whoever is being afflicted,
right? Or the level of offended, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
whatever. You gotta. I guess it's like a balance to it all, but
absolutely, and that's usually the issue.
Death, you could joke about.
It shines some light on different aspects. Yeah,
you know how many rape jokes is out there? Not that they all good, but
good, but you know right. And that's the whole thing: rape jokes, 9/11 jokes, slavery jokes,
baby jokes.
Yes, but the issue is usually too many times people look for shock value, but not wit. Right. I can appreciate wit. I don't like shock value jokes. That's just you saying something fucked up to get a reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't know if y'all remember, my bad, Marcus, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying a lot of people do that, or shows, you know. There's a whole thing of radio shows, shock jock, you know that term. Where they just saying stuff to get viewers, you know.
Or
trolls, you know.
Trolls. Back in the early 2000s, there was a stream of quote unquote jokes that were killing baby jokes. There's like, it's like, what do you get when you put a baby in the microwave? And it's like soup. It's like nothing about this is funny.
Yeah, a lot of those I never really.
I never got it either.
Most of those never were funny.
But just shit like that.
Man, I was about to say, I'm sure there's at least one baby joke that I just haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure there's one that'll get me. It might be one that'll get me. But
I mean, if it's clever enough, but like
if it's clever, right?
Yeah. But it hasn't been found yet.
No, not yet.
Diamond in the rough that hasn't been found.
Yo, but I'm like, but there's taboo jokes all the time that I can hear, and I'm like, that's actually a pretty funny joke. Hell, Aaron, when you used to work at Penguin, me and who was that, Chaz or somebody was just telling racist jokes. It was either I can't remember.
Oh, exactly Mello. It might have been Mello.
It might have been Mello.
Yeah.
We were just telling racist jokes the whole time, and it was because they were clever.
Yeah. See, that's
we made sure we never told racist jokes about the other person's shit.
Okay, so that is a good. I remember that shit, and I remember laughing. That was like really, really good times. But also remembering, like, I remember the atmosphere just seemed like there has to be a certain atmosphere or a certain way about it where it doesn't feel like you're it's like you're bringing up, even if it's some sort of stereotypes or facts about it, it's still said in a way that feels lighthearted. And I just feel like
I don't care about that part.
I feel like you're not always. I feel like it's rare that people can tell racist jokes without somebody in the room having an issue with it. It's supposed to everybody being understanding. Like, oh, we get the humor here. We get the idea. The atmosphere is not heavy. It's still kind of like,
yeah.
Only because a lot of times in those scenarios, it's being said either in in spite of that person's experience or to spite them.
Where it feels like they're personally trying to hurt them. Yeah.
Oh, not. Yeah, go ahead, Marco.
I was gonna say, like, when you go to like a comedy club, you come to you know that's what happens here. Like,
right. That's different. That's the environment setting it up.
Yeah, that's
right,
that's a specific setting. Yeah.
But like if you're at a party and some white dude makes a racist joke about black folks, knowing that there's only one black dude in the room or one black person in the room, and they're doing that for their friends to make fun of black people, that's different. That's weaponizing it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. They're doing it in spite of that person, and they're doing it just to make fun of a kind of people, which gives it no kind of credibility, as opposed to being like, okay, if I'm making a joke to an Indian dude about some part of Indian culture that clearly is a real thing, and I'm a comedian, so I'm doing this on stage, everything is setting it up for that to happen. I also, so it's
but stage is different. I'm saying, like, between you two, when it's a small store like that, I don't know, it just felt, the atmosphere felt good. It just felt like, okay, I felt like everybody around, who was only like a couple other workers there, white and otherwise, like it just felt like, okay, we all collectively get it, even if it's a small group of us, understand they're being lighthearted, like they're just, no one's feeling personally attacked, and you don't always get.
I think it comes back to if you're funny or not. Like,
right?
If you're not funny, then stop it.
Right.
Like, it's not effective.
Stop it.
I think it should be like a level of funniness. You a number 5. Like, you don't get to say this
because what's also the case in that penguin situation. I don't doubt that we had some conversation going into, okay, now we're all cool. That part doesn't happen most of the time.
Yeah, there was already, the opening was there already.
No, it wasn't like, it was like, oh, okay. It wasn't like I say a joke and now Chad says a joke and then Mello says a joke. Like, it wasn't that thing. It was a thing of, we're talking about something else completely. And then this subject gets brought up. So now we get to consent to it.
Gotcha.
As opposed to, I just threw out some joke about whatever that is in complete disregard to anybody in the room.
Got you. I feel like those moments are hit or miss. I feel like those moments are hit or miss. That's all.
Because people don't be caring about how the fuck it affects anybody else.
Yeah, like for me, I know I've been in places where it's primarily when I was in the Air Force or whatever, where like there's obviously the majority of people are white. I mean, it's kind of just the United States. Like, so the majority of people are white. There's, some black people, some Hispanic people. There's been times when there was like race jokes being thrown around, but it felt different. Like it honestly felt like these white dudes are saying these jokes because they know that I guess you could call it a safe space, because they realize that they can say all these jokes that they've got built up, and ain't nobody gonna swing on them because we're in this professional setting. And there's some jokes being thrown both ways. So it's a mutual thing, but it always was like, it seemed like it came from them far more than from black people to white people or Hispanic to white. Because I remember I said a joke about white folks, whatever, to this dude, and he looked at me like I was I was crazy, like how dare you? And I'm like, what? Y'all say stuff all the time. And it was a very interesting moment, because like because I typically don't participate in the race joke. I honestly don't like them unless it's somebody I know. Like I already said, I don't like most people. So all of these people that I don't like saying race jokes, that makes me feel a certain type of way.
Absolutely.
See, I feel like he shouldn't. It's like, especially if he was one of the dudes who most often is like making black jokes because he felt safe. He can't look at you then and be like, "Yo, you responded? Yo, you dissed me back? You dissing me back?" Like you can't. He has no right in that way. Yeah.
But hypocrisy is a part of the American fiber.
Human fiber. I would also say.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
but we only have a couple minutes left. Before we
I agree with you. I'm just saying. Well, y'all, I think that's a good place to stop. I didn't say whelp. I said well. So I think that's a good place to wrap it up, y'all. We want to appreciate y'all for joining us on another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. Aaron, Adam, Marcus, do you have any last thoughts to share before we get on out of here?
Be vulnerable. That's something I'm always working on, and I just encourage everybody else out there who's listening to just let that be your 2021 resolution, is to just try to be a little more vulnerable, even if it's uncomfortable. Give it a try, and then write in, let us know what the fuck happened.
Let us know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Don't go kidnapping anybody.
Please, please don't kidnap anyone.
But do let us know, man.
One thing I actually meant to say this on the last episode, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the listeners.
Yes,
from first season. I think we got over 1,500 listens in the first season. That's not including YouTube, because I didn't look at that metric, but
that's real.
So it's probably more like 1,501. So I'm just kidding.
I think Aaron froze. Oh no.
Hey, what's up?
Right,
I take YouTube as like the main whatever thing. Because
the main measurement.
Yeah,
the audio. Yeah, that's real. By all means, we want to thank the audio listeners. 1,500 is a hell of a milestone, and we don't take for granted at all. And it's been nice. I had a friend. I saw him in the gym, and he was like, "Hey, man, I've been listening to the podcast. Y'all the funniest shit." He's like, "Y'all be talking cash shit, and it's great." And so that was really great, because I had no idea that he even listened. And shout out to my sis Renisha. I don't know if y'all remember her, Adam and Marcus. She said she started listening to the podcast because she was moving from down south to Muncie, because she just got a job at Ball State.
Nice. Well, while we're giving shout outs, shout out to the homie Marcus. I work with him. And this
I was like,
Marcus. That's why I paused on purpose just to
made me happy.
Like what Marcus do?
The homie Marcus Albert, man, a co-worker of mine. He loves the podcast.
Love you too, Marcus.
He thoroughly enjoyed season 1, and he's patiently waiting on the first episodes of season 2. So
Thursday, it'll be out by then. This come out, so I guess it don't matter. So never mind.
He's always like, "Yo, Aaron, I gotta listen to something. Thursday. I'm driving all day. I need something to listen to." I'm like, we coming with the heat rock. We coming.
Heat rock. That's a great song by Toby and the Wigway. What'd you say, Marco?
Nah, I was just saying we about to drop these pods on y'all head.
Come on,
shout out to Wikipedia. 20 years, man. 20 years. I just saw it on my things.
I was like, that's such a random fact. Man,
Wikipedia, is pretty important. I've been using it for a long time.
That's true.
I never donated, but
no. If you want to get connected to us, y'all, please, for the love of all that is loving and black, write us at InforMILLy Honest Podcast at gmail.com. That is Inform ILLY podcast, Honest Podcast at gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at InforMILLy Honest, and Facebook and InforMILLy Honest Podcast, even though we don't really post on the Facebook that much because the thing got messed up and it's hard to share them both. But
Twitter is coming soon.
We're saying Twitter is coming soon for 3 months, but I promise it is.
It's coming soon.
And we might even get a TikTok going. Who knows? Because TikTok has been very entertaining.
Start doing dance routines.
Oh my God. Wake up to a new one every day, man.
Yo, I'm not gonna act like those sentiments that most dudes are sharing about busted challenges is not true. I can watch that shit all day. Just being very, very dehydrated about the whole situation. And so want to thank y'all, encourage you to write in, tell us how you feel, put some comments on the clips. We will interact with all comments and posts, try to get these numbers up on the social media so they can stop suppressing us and putting only 3 likes on every 3 watches on every video we post. And by all means, any conversation you have, any relationship you that you engage with, we want to ask that you please apply those 3 principles.
That was super smooth.
Right? Being vulnerable and most of all, honest. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
Family Feud, that's the name of this.
Yo, I like that. I like that.
The king inside, wear a chain on your chest with the bling inside, and we gon' ride till we alright. What can you provide to keep the youth alive? Cops shoot shots, but they don't do the time.